Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Welcome back to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. Well, with so much uncertainty still surrounding holidays abroad this summer, it's hoped that domestic tourism will enjoy a badly needed boost in the months of July and August. So how is Wexford preparing to take advantage of the increased demand for staycations? Colm Neville is the chairman of Visit Wexford, and he joins me now to tell us about their latest campaign. Colm, we'll be discussing Visit Wexford's plans to capitalise on the staycations market this summer. But first, I'd like to talk to you about your own business, the Riverside Park Hotel. If we wind back the clock to January and February of this year, how was 2020 shaping up for you?
Good morning, Karl. Thanks for having me. With the provincial hotels in general, we've never seen this post-recession that the Dublin hotels had seen. But we have seen 2018, 2019 as two strong years. And there was no doubt about it that 2020 was looking every bit as strong. For ourselves in the Riverside, we would have had record wedding bookings at the time. And therefore, that drives a lot of our business. It looked like it was going to be an even better year. So we were very buoyed up by all of that. And of course, we're looking forward to the season ahead.
So when the news broke that hotels had to close back in March, how did you take that?
To be honest, not too well. If I tell the truth of it, I felt, I suppose, as a business owner, I felt a great burden, I guess, on my own shoulders, responsibility for the 180, 190 odd between part-time and full-time employees, both in the Riverside Park Hotel and a further 35 to 40 in the Crown Bar in Wexford. Felt a great onus of responsibility and felt great helplessness indeed that I had to tell those people, all colleagues that I work with every day of the week, that I had no option but to put them on temporary layoff, that there was just no way that there was going to be obviously any money coming in and therefore we couldn't pay any wage going out. They all understood it and I think they appreciated the genuine heartfelt sentiment that I had and the heavy heart that I had to tell them that on that Monday, the 16th of March. It was terrible, really. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, I'll be honest.
So what have you been focusing on in the business during the pandemic?
I suppose we've been, first of all, in the first phase, it was all about locking down the business, speaking to our suppliers, getting their cooperation to be able to hold over payments, controlling the cash flow. Obviously, at a time when there's nothing coming in, one of the most important things in any business is obviously to mind the cash. All utilities, all direct debits, they all had to be addressed, and I had to speak to all the suppliers, which by and large were generally very well supported. Our bank would have been very supportive, and obviously the moratoriums that went into place had to go into place straight away. I suppose after the first couple of weeks, we obviously all started trying to get our head around, well, what sort of length was this going to work, going to go on for? I would have spent quite a bit of time thinking of the staff, trying to advise them on how to save money, how to batten down their own ship, if you like, to make sure they got through this time without too much difficulties. I mean, mental health was going to be another issue. We would have given links to places and resources that Fáilte Ireland would have had available to us for all the staff to be able to engage with, to be sure that people got through this time healthy-wise and that we were going to be in one piece at the other end. After that, it would have been very much focusing on what the future might look like. That has been a most frustrating exercise, not knowing what the future, and through no one's fault, but not knowing what way the virus was going to react, how it was going to grow or be taken under control, how long that might be going to take. And it was incredibly frustrating to see your business put on ice, really, and into deep freeze.
And of course, you're a highly experienced entrepreneur and businessman, but how stressful have the past 12 weeks been on you?
I'll be honest, I've never gone through such a stressful time, and it's been incredibly difficult to keep focused and upbeat, and because really and truly, I guess one of the most frustrating things for any business, and there's going to be lots of business people out there, big and small, I'm sure, will empathise with this. When you've no control, it becomes extremely frustrating. And of course, we had no control over the virus. As the virus becomes somewhat under control, we've got little or no control over the sort of assistance we're going to need to get through these times. And I guess a massive waste that's going to lie on anyone's business is to be able to turn around and say, well, I don't believe we can make it through the next 6, 7, 8 months without assistance and subsidies and things like that. That's the position hospitality is in across the board, no matter how well or how poorly the businesses are being ran or are being run. They will not survive these times without relief and without assistance.
And Colm, of course, the temporary wage subsidy scheme has been a great lifeline to many businesses for the past few months, and that's guaranteed up until the end of August. But what other and further supports would you like to see the government introduce, especially for the hospitality sector?
Well, I'll be honest, some of the grants that have been announced have been very, very inadequate to lots of businesses. If I can give you an example, I expect in every way to get the assistance of the grant in the Crown Bar of the 10,000 to help us pay for the Perspex dividers, to help us put all the capital expenditure into place to be able to get the business started again. But then you take the Riverside Park Hotel, where I'm probably spending about 4 times that amount on actual investment in the business because it's that much bigger, but because the turnover is greater than 5 million and the number of employees is greater than 50, I don't qualify at all. That's ludicrous. Speaking from a Visit Wexford point of view, we've got the likes of the various facilities for our guests and our customers and our visitors to go along and see. So all the trails, for example, the walking trails, the various attractions, they don't qualify at all for whatever reason. And so there's too many people not able to access funds that need to access it to survive. And Carl, they are our product. We're seriously popular here in Wexford from a visitor point of view. Our customers, our domestic customer in particular, really love what they get when they come here. But I fear for even this summer, and I certainly fear for beyond the summer as to what the offering will be, because there's too many businesses, I believe, seriously considering not opening their doors or failing for the lack of a little bit of support.
And Colm, what's your message to those specific businesses?
I suppose from a positive point of view, from the very time, and this goes across the board with any of the hoteliers in the southeast here that I've been talking to, or in Wexford in specific that I've been talking to, from the moment Leo Varadkar announced putting forward the opening dates of the hotels to the 29th, that sent, I believe, a message of positivity to the entire country who are holding off booking, I believe because they were afraid it might even go back further and they'd only have to cancel again and et cetera, et cetera. The number of bookings that were taken last Friday, I believe, was a record throughout. Certainly in the Riverside was a record day, and from talking to other hoteliers, it's the very same. So we won't know it until they arrive on the 29th, and we won't know it till the visitor is here all through July and August. But the message I want to give to all the businesses that generally support those visitors and give them something to do and somewhere to go, and the cafes and the bars and the attractions and the petting farms and everything else, all that we have to offer in Wexford, the visitor will be here. They will want their service, and it's well worthwhile, I believe, given July and August, it's a fair crack at the whip. I think the business will come in the door. It won't be like other years. The occupancy will not be as strong as other years because we're starting from such a short lead-in time. But it will be stronger than I had imagined it was going to be, and I'm very buoyed up by that. So I'd like to send that message of encouragement. out to the entire county and to everyone in hospitality. There will be people, and indeed in retail, there will be footfall on the streets from visitors in Wexford. We're blessed with our position in relation geographically and indeed emotively to the Dublin market. They love the product here.
And in relation to the bookings that you've been receiving for both July and August in the Riverside Park Hotel, have you noticed any changing trends, such as where the guests are coming from, the duration of their stay, or whether they are new or returning guests?
Without a doubt, Dublin is our main market, and that's where we're seeing the bookings coming from. That's no surprise. In any other given year, it could be as high, forgive me for not knowing exactly, but it could be, I have an impression of it being as high as 80 or 85% of our visitors are from the capital, from Dublin. From the point of view of the length of stay, there is definitely a trend for a longer stay. There are people that will have been with us before. There's no doubt about it. It's a lot of repeat business. But I think these same people some of them may well have taken an additional foreign holiday at some time during the year. They know that that's not going to happen this year. So they're making a greater holiday of their spell with us here. I mean, I can't say that the majority of our bookings are 5 and 7 nights. No, they're not. But rather than that's with the Riverside here, but there could be other hotels that's seen that. But we are seeing a trend where maybe our average stay might have been a 2-night stay going to 3 and 4 nights. So that's for sure they're staying for longer. I honestly believe that the biggest opportunity we have here in Wexford in general is that 7.2 billion that they tell us goes out of the country in foreign holidays every year. Well, the biggest lion's share of that, no matter what, has to be from the capital, from Dublin, from the biggest population. They're on our doorstep. We're in prime position. We're number one on the grid.
And Colm, what is Visit Wexford doing to ensure that County Wexford maximises this staycation opportunity this year?
Yeah, okay. So we've in Visit Wexford, we're launching on the 22nd of this month a radio advertising. We're going out next week with major Google ads, internet ads. We're currently, at the moment, revamping the entire website experience. The whole idea of that build-up was to be mainly available at the end of June and beginning of July. We're being well supported, in fairness, by the County Council. We've had, I personally have had meetings with Tony Larkin and Liz Hoare all around wanting to support the industry in general, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. And, you know, there's a campaign in the next, as I say, kicking off on the 22nd. That's going to be in the order of 25,000 on top of what we'd normally be spending. And, you know, our normal spend in Visit Wexford would be up around 160,000 per year. So it's on top of that, and we're saving some more to be able to come back then in September. I feel that July and August, it's not that to look after themselves, but they won't be as good as other years. Obviously, they won't. There won't be as many people moving, but there won't be a bad year either at all. And what I do think is, come September, October, November, we need to be more supportive of the industry. Then we'll have to have some money in our satchel to go and purchase our advertising and put the name out there all the more. Then you'll appreciate that obviously the trend to see the bookings coming in really has only been happening since last Friday. We've been getting busy ever since then, making sure to get working on these ad campaign, highlighting how safe it is in Wexford, highlighting the experience people will have, and highlighting that all the trade are well ready to keep people safe and that are going to run responsible premises for people that can trust us to come and visit.
Now, there is an argument that while the local tourism market might receive a boost during the months of July and August, the real impact of COVID-19 will be felt in the off-peak season of September to March next year. What is your outlook in this regard, Colm, and what can Visit Wexford do to protect the hospitality and tourism industry here in County Wexford during those darker months?
I think, in fairness, It has to be an outlook of concern for those months. There's no doubt about it. It has to be. But I also think that if we can get our summer season right, the people that are coming to us, they don't tend to come once a year. They tend to come back and back again. People who want the breaks. So they're there as an opportunity. As I said earlier, I suppose at the outset of the interview, it's without doubt in my mind that businesses cannot survive through those months in this year, probably countrywide, but certainly from a Wexford point of view. I just know it that we have to have a continuity or a continuation of the wage subsidy scheme in some form. And they're telling us that it probably will be there, but it'll be in some step-down fashion. Businesses need to know what that is early. We need to be told early so that we can plug it into our cash flows, that we can make our business plan. We can sit down with our bankers. We can decide if it's possible to keep the business afloat or not and through to next year. I would highlight that while we've got a great product in Wexford, it is very seasonal in any given year. So businesses depend on these months that they now haven't had up until July. I'm saying I believe there will be a strong month of July and August for them if their doors are open and if they welcome the visitor like they always do. It will be strong. It won't be as strong as normal years, but there will be some money in the bank at the end of August. I just don't believe there'll be enough in it to see them through to next season. Don't forget, next season won't really kick off till Paddy's Day next year. That's a hell of a distance away from the end of August. The government has to help this industry get through that. We as an industry, the hotel industry itself, would have seen employment increase by, I think it was probably 80,000 from 2011 to 2018. It's a real driver of rural wealth. It gives employment to all corners. It gives a start to people's careers right across the whole country. We can't let it fail to such a degree now that we will be building it for several years again.
And Colm, finally, it has probably never been as important to support local, has it?
Oh my God, Karl, I'm so glad you've raised that. Above all other times and above all other years, I'd ask people to remember where their brothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, uncles are employed. They're employed in the shops. They're employed in the hospitality. So it's never been more important for ourselves to give back to ourselves, give to our own community, those that are employing our own community. You know, there's a lot of talk about the COVID payments that have gone out and the PUP payments that have gone out, the 350s into families. I believe that money's, certainly I expect and hope that lots of that monies are still in the bank accounts. What I'm saying is I'm appealing to the people that have that money. Don't be going online. Don't be buying from, all over the world. Every bit the quality and the backup, more importantly, maybe for what you might buy, is here on our own doorstep. By supporting those, we're actually going to get some of that money back into our households again. Because if you buy it in the butcher is employing someone who might be going to go down the road and buy a pair of shoes off of your brother who might be going to buy something else. So it comes back around in the community. It's never, ever, ever been as important for Wexford people to go out and support the Wexford bars, the Wexford restaurants, the Wexford shops. Doesn't matter in what Wexford industry you spend your money in, because it'll find its way in through all the rest. But of course, if you spend it on Amazon, dare I say, or somewhere else, well, where does that money go? Only directly out of the economy, and it doesn't feed the rest of us.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Colm Neville from Visit Wexford and the Riverside Park Hotel, and I hope that the upcoming campaign is effective in bringing valuable tourism business to the county.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.